everything falls apart, how do you even begin again? Life can change in a single moment. A disturbing phone call, a devastating diagnosis, a sudden loss of a loved one, a painful betrayal, a rejection later from a school or a job interview, or sometimes nothing dramatic at all. Just a quiet feeling that something inside us has gone missing. We all face moments like this when life gets interrupted, when the path forward is a blur, and the spark we once had feels dim. I have been there, widowed, broken, lost, barely able to get out of bed, and somehow that version of me decided to summit the tallest mountain in Africa, Mount Kilimanjaro, with zero hiking experience. Hi, I'm Rekha Dhiru Shah, and welcome to Next Step, a space for anyone navigating life's interruptions. If your life has changed in ways you never asked for, this space is for you. Once upon a time, my life felt like a fairy tale. I had loving husband, two beautiful daughters, a gorgeous home, lots of friends, and a job I truly enjoyed. Life felt safe. I'll be honest. I was a little spoiled, very protected. My husband carried so much of life for us, the small things and the big things. There was a natural rhythm to our days. I barely noticed it while I was living it. Each morning started with peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, steaming cups of masala chai, and a light conversation. Mostly me talking from end of the world to another. Him listening, smiling, half amused, half loving. If he thought I looked beautiful, he wouldn't say it. He'd just pick up the camera and say, "Let me take your picture." If he saw me smiling, happy about some small, ordinary joy, he wanted to capture it, like he was trying to keep that moment safe forever. Even though he was a brilliant, accomplished surgeon, he used to say his real goal in life was simple: to keep me, this woman, smiling. He made sure my car always had gas, my house was in a tip top condition, made sure all my needs, even the smallest ones, were met. That was his way of loving me. That was us. Then came the day when I was woken up from this beautiful dream. One night we were getting ready for bed, and I asked him if he had to leave early the next morning because I needed some help moving some heavy plant pots. He didn't answer. I asked again. He remained silent for a minute. Then quietly he said, "I have an appointment with my urologist tomorrow." Something dropped in my stomach. I just knew something wasn't right. Actually, I knew something is very wrong. Later that night, he asked me to take him to the hospital. He was in so much pain. I remember begging the nurses, the doctors, anyone who passed by, "Please help him. Please help ease his pain." The next day, the doctor thought it might be an infection, so he started him on antibiotics. 2 days later, he came to me and he said, "Mrs. Shah, I don't want to waste more time. I need to look inside. So, with my permission, he performed a cystoscopy. I waited and waited. Then he came out and said the words that didn't feel real. There is a mass and it looks like cancer, but we need to run more tests. Everything stopped. The hallway noise, the doctor's voice, even the sound of my own breath. All I could think of was not him, not my husband, not us. When I went back into his room, I just held his hands tightly, and he knew it. And even then, he joked, now I know how it feels to be on the other side of the bed. That was him. Grace, even in fear. As time went on, his body weakened, but his mind stayed calm. He was deeply spiritual. He had studied Jainism for years, not just reading about it, but truly living it. We had a Jain scholar we deeply respected. We called him Dada. He was an authority on Jainism, learned guy, very busy, writing books, holding seminars, teaching, giving lectures. And why am I telling you about Dada? Well, because when I felt his death was near, I asked my husband if he wanted to see anyone from India. Your brother? Nope. Your mother? Nope. Your friend? No. And then I asked, how about Dada? And his eyes lit up. He said, give me the phone. So Dada answered right away and he said, well, my seminar ends tomorrow and I'll catch the flight the very next day. So in couple of days, Dada arrived and something shifted. My husband, who had stopped eating and could barely sit upright, suddenly sat straight. He started eating again, 3 meals a day. My daughter called her sister with excitement and said, you won't believe it. Daddy is sitting straight and eating again. Dada stayed for us for 10 days. They spent hours talking about the nature of the soul, the purpose of life, liberation, the cycle of life and death, the karmas, everything they love to discuss. I believe those 10 days were the best 10 days of his life. I saw so much peace, so much happiness, the glow of spiritual fulfillment. He was not in a rush to die, and he wasn't longing for a long life either. He was simply at peace. One day his head was resting in my lap and he was fading away. I gathered the courage to speak to him from the faith we both shared. I reminded him, you are not the body, you are the soul. This is just a short stop in your journey, a pause in his lifetime to gain higher knowledge. You have lived such a pure spiritual life. You have nothing to fear. And then I sang a prayer that reflected the same. He opened his eyes, looked peaceful, almost happy, and he blew me a flying kiss. You are amazing. That was his last kiss. Couple of days later, he began his final meditation. I held his hand tightly, even while silently pleading, "Please don't go, please don't leave me." But at one point, he let go of my hand gently. And somehow, in that moment, I found the strength to say, "I love you." I wished him eternal peace, and I said goodbye. I still don't know how I found that courage. It felt like something greater than me carried me through that. And very peacefully he left his body. And I lost my husband, the love of my life, my partner, my best friend, and the brightest light in my life. The house felt unbearably quiet after that. A kind of silence that doesn't just fill the room, but settles into your bones. For a while, I lived inside that silence. The silence of a house that had lost its heartbeat. The silence of days without his voice. I missed him with every breath. At night, I would reach out for his side of the bed and feel only emptiness. Sometimes I walked through the house just to feel close to him. The spaces he loved, the books he read, the quiet he carried. I realized my grief was just love with nowhere to go. So I let it flow. I cried, I prayed, I sat in silence. I breathed, I felt everything. I allowed my emotions to feel everything without rushing the healing. For decades, he was my shield, handling everything, even the stress I never knew existed. So the hardest part came after, when life did not stop. Reality kicked in, and I had to fulfill the world's obligation. So, in the next episode, I will share how I learned to face the reality, found the strength I did not know I have, awkwardly, imperfectly, and honestly scared. As I tried to grow up, find my footing, and build a life I never prepared for. And slowly I began to understand this wasn't just about surviving without the man I loved. It was about becoming someone new, a woman I hadn't met yet, but the one I would one day be proud of. So, this podcast is about that journey. I'll share that what really took to survive the days after his absence, learning how to stand again after life changed without my permission. If your life has been interrupted too, if you feel lost or stuck, I hope you will walk alongside me. Thank you for being here. If this episode resonated with you, please feel free to share it or leave a comment. It helps this podcast reach others who might need it. And remember, progress doesn't have to be big. When life interrupts you, the bravest thing you can do is just take one small step forward. Oh, one last thing. I created this podcast because someone helped me during my darkest moments. This is my way of paying it forward. So, see you next time, right here at Next Step. Bye bye.